This is the Phillies Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Philadelphia Phillies. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, congratulations to everybody that called this one after a franchise record 8 home runs last night, 5 different guys hitting home runs, 2 different guys having multi-home run games last night in an 11-1 victory. Shout out to all the people that had this one on the bingo card. A 1-0 Phillies victory. Maybe you didn't expect the 1-0 victory, but you maybe surely expected the 1 run for the Phillies offense tonight. But hey, a win is a win. 9 straight home series wins in a row is wonderful. So we'll celebrate it. Welcome in. This is Locked On Phillies Postcast on the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. My name is Mark Farzad. I got you covered for each and every one of your Locked On Phillies Postcast. Connor Thomas has you covered for each and every one of your Locked On Phillies daily podcasts right here on the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Let's talk about the players of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Walker, Buehler, Taijuan Walker. Walker equals win. That's how that goes. WWW. Phillies get the victory with the Walker connection for the second time the Phillies rolled out the Walker connection. This time the Walker connection. That actually equals out to 7 scoreless innings of baseball. 4 hits, 5 walks. Holy Stromboli. How did they get away with 5 walks over those 7 innings? They're now ladder around. I don't know, but I will say this. If you look at those Taijuan Walker numbers, there they are, 18 strikes out of 35 pitches. Then you also look at 44 strikes out of 74 pitches from Walker Buehler. That's not a very sharp strike percentage. A little wild, to say the absolute least, to start this game off, especially with Walker Buehler in the early goings of this ball game. It did not appear like this was going to be a low-run affair, let alone no-run affair for the Miami Marlins, but yet the Phillies were able to get themselves out of jams. For instance, it was a 19-pitch first inning in total for Walker Buehler. He walked Marcy on 4 pitches. Then he struck out Ramirez. It was a 3-2 pitch, 3-2 sinker. And while he struck him out, they get the strike him out, throw him out, double play. Barely. The Marlins waste their challenge in the second batter of the game. And unfortunately, it does not work out for them. Even later in the game, when it appeared like they beat out a ball down the first baseline in the 7th inning, I want to say. It was late in the ball game. But it didn't pan out well for him. But it certainly saved Walker Buehler's pitch count in the first inning of the game and really the rest of the way for him to actually be able to last 5 scoreless innings. He then ended up walking Edwards again on 4 pitches, and then he got Hicks to line out to center field. 3 of the 4 batters he faced in the first inning were 3-ball counts. Not great. 2 of those walks, 8 pitches. Also, again, wait for it, not great. But he would settle in after that. Second inning, 1-2-3. Third inning gives up a leadoff base knock. Then he's able to get out of it after that. He walks 1 more batter, has a bases loaded 2-out situation. He gets Hicks to pop out to second base. That was nice to see him get out of that. 4th inning, leadoff base knock there by Lopez. He gets him to line into the double play to get doubled off first base. Then Norby gets hit by a pitch, so it was 3 walks and a hit batsman by Walker Buehler tonight. And then Johnston flies out to center field. That was that. Now, 5th inning, he comes out, another 1-2-3 inning. The 5th inning was interesting. I thought the 5th inning meant he might come out again for the 6th inning, but instead, a 5-pitch 5th inning, Rob Thompson said, thanks very much. See you later. Taijuan Walker comes in for the 6th and 7th inning. Again, like Walker Buehler started off, a little bit wild. He walks the first batter he faced. This one also on 4 pitches, I believe it was. Then he gives up a hit to Hicks to right field. You have first and second, no out. Lopez flies out to center field. Conine strikes out, looking at an 0-2 fastball. Down and away, a 3-pitch strikeout for Taijuan Walker. And then he sits down Norby. And what I always say about Taijuan Walker, he's always at his best when he is throwing that splitter well. He gives him a 2-2 splitter. He goes down swinging at it. That was the end of that for the 6th inning. 7th inning, he's able to go out there and have some success. Just 1 walk, but gets out of it unscathed after that. Bryson Stott also providing some help there at second base with a great diving grab to rob Johnston of a base knock there in the 7th inning. A 14-pitch 7th inning there for Taijuan Walker. They give it over to the bullpen. I don't want to jinx anything, Matt Strom, figure it out before the playoffs, maybe. And then the rain delay. An hour and 1 minute. It was an hour and 9 minutes last night. This one, an hour and 1 minute. Again, the people that were really looking forward to the Phillies coming back from the West Coast trip to get a little bit of shut-eye with 6:45 and a 6:05 start time today. Sorry, not happening. But nonetheless, Phillies go out there tonight, and they're able to close the door. But with the rain delay, Joan Duran was warming up in the bullpen, and when they put the tarp, it was a weird thing, and I don't think I've ever seen this before. They put the tarp over the pitcher's mound and home plate. They go to break after the top of the 8th inning. They come back. They have the tarp on the mound and home plate. You can see Vic Carapazza is going over the radar with the grounds crew and all that. And he made a signal that I thought was to the dugout, like, yeah, bring him out, let's go. The broadcast thought it was bring the tarp out, cover the whole field. Turns out it was the first option there. And they brought the Marlins back out onto the field for the Phillies to get their at-bats in the bottom of the 8th inning. They barely run through that. They get the shot of Joan Duran warming up in the bullpen. And I'm thinking, if he's warming up now, and then they call it after this inning, as in go to a rain delay, you might not see Joan Duran come in the top of the 9th inning to close this bad boy out. Sure enough, after about 10 minutes after that fiasco of, put the tarp on. No, don't put the tarp on. Okay, take the tarp off the mound and home plate. They have the inning. They have the bottom half of the inning, and then they call it. They say, all right, they have part of the bottom half of the inning, and then they call it and say, all right, rain delay. Hour and minute later, no Joan Duran available, and they go with David Robertson, who wasn't exactly squeaky clean, allowing 2 runs earlier in this series in Game 1, where the Phillies blew it in 11 innings in that 6-5 loss in Game 1. But got to give credit to him. David Robertson came out, and other than a base knock, got through it pretty clean in that 9th inning to pick up the save and help secure the Phillies 1-0 victory. So players of the game, I go to the Walkers. Everyone else in the pitching staff, good hustle to use guys in a shutout effort. As far as
time to reveal where the game was won or lost, it's the turning point.
In all honesty, I'm not making a joke here. I feel the turning point was to strike him out, throw him out, double play in the first inning. I'm not going to go with Harrison Bader being able to score on the bouncer to third from Alec Bohm, the only run of the game, the only RBI of the game, obviously. I'm not going to go with that. If they don't turn the strike him out, throw him out, and, for instance, Marcy is safe at second base, you got a runner in scoring position with only 1 out. Then he walks Edwards. You got runners on first and second with 1 out. Hicks obviously put some good wood on it, but lined out to center field. I just felt like the wheels were going to come off for Walker Buehler in that first inning, and then that would expedite the process of when the clock would strike midnight on Taijuan Walker coming into the game. That right there felt like, okay, they got this. They needed to get a little through the bumps in the road there in the early goings in that first inning, and once they got through that, it felt like it was going to be their game, and it certainly felt more like it was going to be their game after the bottom half of that first inning when Harrison Bader came out, led off with the single. Unfortunately, Kyle Schwarber went down swinging at a 2-2 slider up and in. Then Bryce Harper got a base knock. You have runners on first and third with 2 outs or 1 out, and Alec Bohm steps up to hit that bouncer to third. Bader's able to score on it. The only run of the ball game right then and there, the only run they would need. That is what I'll consider to be the turning point. As far as what you'll be talking about,
this is what you'll be talking about.
You're going to be talking about the fact that the Phillies have won 9 straight series at home. You're going to be talking about the idea of Kyle Schwarber going homerless today. Needs 2 home runs, of course, to tie Ryan Howard for 58, the all-time franchise mark for homers in a season. And you're going to be wondering whether or not he's going to be able to do that coming up against the Minnesota Twins in the final 3-game series of the season. I asked this question last night. Rob Thompson did answer this question last night. I obviously was not at the press conference, but I asked it during postcast whether or not he's going to give him a chance. I would venture to guess that he would. Well, during the press conference last night, he said, yeah, I'm going to give him a chance. I'm going to give him a chance to break Ryan Howard's record. So he's a DH. All you got to do is take a couple of ABs, in the last couple of games here, a day, and you'll have a chance to tie and maybe with a little bit of luck, be able to break Ryan Howard's franchise record. That's what I think you guys will be kicking around tomorrow. There was 1 or 2 pitches tonight that Kyle Schwarber definitely had in his blast-off zone, and unfortunately, Jess wasn't able to put good wood on those pitches that were in the nitro zone. Few in the nitro zone, but definitely pitches that we've seen Kyle Schwarber blast into oblivion in years past. When we come back, we're going to walk through it all when it comes to the box score. We're also going to take your comments on this one and how you're feeling about the Phils. Oh, one last thing you'll also be talking about tonight. The Mets, unfortunately, are up right now in Chicago, top of the 9th inning, 8-5 on the Chicago Cubs. So that's the way that looks right now. The Mets trying desperately, by the way, to hang on to playoff hopes as the season winds down. Phillies, of course, have their last series of the season coming up, as do the Mets. The Mets right now are a half game up on the Cincinnati Reds. That's the way that one goes down now. The Reds won earlier today. So you're talking about a Cubs come from behind victory tonight. If it happens, again, they're down 8-5 to the Mets in Chicago at Wrigley. There's an opportunity there for the Reds to be able to pull into a tie there again for the third and final wild card spot in the National League. That's the way that's looking right now. Diamondbacks a game and a half out as of right now. They lost to the Dodgers tonight, by the way, 8-0. All right, when we come back, we'll get your comments and walk through the box score. This is Locked On Phillies Postcast and the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. And right now, how about I tell you about FanDuel and all the fun you can be having on FanDuel at FanDuel.com. Just go to FanDuel.com, download the FanDuel app, and have yourself a good old time. I absolutely love FanDuel for all the different ways you could bet. And how about this? For new customers right now, you could bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using the FanDuel app because you can talk about parlays. You can talk about same-game parlays. You can talk about player props. You can even get in on the live action as all of it unfolds right in front of your very eyes. Makes every game more exciting. Every kickoff, first pitch, face-off, tip-off, whatever it might be. All that much more exciting on the FanDuel app. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the best way to add a little bit more energy to your game days. So, ready to play? Download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to get started. And download the FanDuel app where your first $5 bet for new customers can pan out to $300 in bonus bets if it hits. So check out FanDuel at FanDuel.com. And now it's time to tell you about Rugiet. Yeah, that's right. Rugiet. What do you get when you have a bald eagle standing at the top of on top of a silverback gorilla riding a T-Rex? I'll tell you what you got. Confidence. That's what you got. Pure confidence. If you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Go Long. That's exactly where Rugiet Go Long comes in, as a matter of fact. This isn't just another ED pill. Come on. It's a total game changer for confidence. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula, so you could take care of the business and go the distance. The effects can last up to 36 hours. That's confidence all day and all night, and even into the next day. And a little bit after that as well. So check it out. Rugiet. Simple process. Connect with the board-certified doctor 100% online. And if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly right to your door. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly to your door. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to Rugiet, that's RUGIET.com, and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB at Rugiet.com. And as promised, let's take a stroll through this one here. Now, take a gander at this for just a minute, okay? Harrison Bader got you that leadoff single, which, of course, came in to be the game-winning run in the bottom of the first inning. Kyle Schwarber had 2 strikeouts tonight, did work a walk. Bryce Harper back in the lineup, got a base knock with a shot up the middle. That was nice to see him coming back from an illness. Alec Bohm came up with 2 hits in tonight's ballgame. Brandon Marsh came up with a hit, 2 strikeouts. Kepler came up with 2 strikeouts. He later sat out the rest of the game in the 9th inning as he had an illness, unfortunately, that he was dealing with. But Nick Castellanos came in to play right field for him and was just about to get an at-bat, but unfortunately, fate wasn't on his side tonight. Bryson Stott, a couple of base knocks. Nice to see that. And then Mundo Sosa, after his historic night last night, goes 0 for 3. But here's the deal in all of that. The Philadelphia Phillies tonight, 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Not only was it probably on a lot of your bingo cards, as it's been throughout the season, they score a lot of runs this game, shut out the next game, 2 runs the next game, 1 run the next game. Well, 11 runs last night, 8 home runs. No home runs tonight, unfortunately. Total of, 7 hits. That's fun. And 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Bader was in scoring position with 1 out. They brought him home. Bryce Harper was able to get in the scoring position. Brandon Marsh struck out in that first inning, unfortunately. Then in the second inning, nothing was doing for him. Third inning, nothing doing. Fourth inning, Alec Bohm gets a hit. That's a 1-out base knock. Brandon Marsh follows with a base knock. You have first and second, 1 out. JT lines out to short. Then Kepler goes down looking at a fastball down in the zone, but a great pitch. Perfect pitch by Junk. That pitch certainly was not Junk. Phillies aren't able to get anything after back-to-back 1-out base knocks in the fourth inning. Hey, fifth inning, leadoff base hit by Bryson Stott. Stott's able to go to second on a grounder back to the pitcher that couldn't be handled by Junk, unfortunately, for the Marlins. So now you got a 1-out base runner on second base, runner in scoring position. They go to Gibson. They bring in the lefty. Schwarber walks. They have first and third with 2 outs after a wild pitch. Harper then strikes out on a curveball. It goes from a 3-0 count to 3-2, and he swings over top the curveball down, very down, and not in the zone. He chases it. So the Phillies can't get anything going then. And, look, 7th inning. What do you know? Another leadoff base runner. Nothing doing from that. Catch the theme? Not great. Let's get what you guys have to say about this one as the Phillies do win 1-0 tonight. Scott, hello. How are you doing tonight, my friend? I'm doing good, Scott, although I don't like your logo. I do not like the Dallas Cowboy star in your little avatar there. Don't like it one bit. How about that? What scares me, says Philly and 8, is they look like Roy Hobbs before Harriet Bird shot him last night. By the way, I didn't even mention. Oh, and then they look like the offense looks like the Bad News Bears tonight. Okay, I like that. I didn't even reference Rob. I didn't even talk about Robert Redford passing away. I mean, one of my favorite all-time guys. I mean, obviously The Natural. For me, my top 2, The Natural. And then he directed it. He wasn't in it. A River Runs Through It. Love that movie. A River Runs Through It. I grew up fishing with my pops, fishing with my dad, teaching my daughter how to fish now. We've been out a couple of times. I've been out once with I love that movie. R.I.P. Robert Redford. But yeah, thank you for reminding me of that, Philly and 8. Hello. Joel, hitter runner in scoring position, non-existent in the last 6 games now. Really need to fix that before the playoffs. Yeah, that'd be good. Because, banking on 8 home runs a night, not a solid strategy there, Cotton. Bold, though. Morgan Landy, hello. Minnesota Twins Appreciation Weekend for giving us the running back. Remember the really bad days with the Phillies when they had like Mike Trout night and they invited all of Millville? Like anyone who has driven through Millville at any point in their life, they were like invited to Citizens Bank Park. Maybe that's what we should do for the Twins as a city. Like, oh, thanks, guys. By the way, for the second consecutive night, you got to watch the rain delay television there where they talk about how the Minnesota Twins game day operations people just gave the Phillies, hey, just here's all the work we've done on Joan Duran's entrance. But yeah, you guys can have it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. NBC postgame just said the Phillies are 8 for 62 with runners in scoring position in the last 6 games. Yikes, that is not good. Jess Patrick, a win. A wild win, you might say. I wouldn't say this one was wild. 1-0 doesn't scream wild to me, but to each their own. If you think it's wild, it's wild. Simple as that. Elliot, hello. Buehler, strike zone. Who needs it? Doesn't matter. It's a win, right? Hi, Mark. Is there a virus going around the team? Asks Mark C. I don't. There could be with Harper being sick. Now Kepler being sick. Was Marsh sick? Marsh was sick, obviously. Yeah. Danny, hello. Probably. Probably. I mean, when you go to the office and somebody's sick and then somebody else gets sick, you just blame that one person. Matt Forstater, hello, people. We won't be playing the Marlins or their manager in the playoffs. True. Mick Abel's scheduled to start Saturday. Oh, that'll be fun. Jess Patrick, hello. Marlins play the Mets for 3 games starting tomorrow. I'm now a Marlins fan. Let's go Fish. Fine with Schwarbs and Harper being tied if that's how it turns out. As am I. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great, as per usual. Your Philadelphia Phillies back at it tomorrow night to start up their final series of the season. This will be a 6:45 start time, hopefully with no rain delay. Joe Ryan gets the start against Aaron Nola. Ryan 13-9 on the season with a 3.47 ERA. Aaron Nola goes. He is no further description. If I mention Robert Redford on this show, I also got to mention Bernie Parent, who passed away on Sunday. I got to know the Flyers legend, Hall of Famer, Hockey Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it, back-to-back Stanley Cup champion. We all know. I got a chance to know him, and I can say this about him. Bernie Parent, I know this is a baseball show, but talking about Flyers goaltender Bernie Parent, back-to-back cups in the 70s there. Growing up in this market, the market in which I work, I've met a lot of my heroes. I can honestly tell you, no one has gone from hero to friend faster than Bernie Parent. I'm going to miss that man a lot. I love that man. He's going to be missed. Whoever said never meet your heroes never met Bernie Parent. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Again, you guys got me for your postcast. You got Connor Thomas each and every day for your Locked On Phillies daily podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Go Phils. See you tomorrow.